Alright, we have finally reached it. We are at Homestead, the final weekend of the NASCAR season. So after almost 9 months of war, 35 grueling and boring-ass races later, we have finally reached the Final Four for all 3 NASCAR series. So we're going to go through each series. I'll give you my championship prediction. And yeah, let's go through it. Let's start off with the trucks. So here are your trucks' Final Four here on the screen. So our Final Four consists of Johnny Sauter, Justin Haley, Brett Moffitt, and Noah Gragson. Now my initial Final Four prediction was Johnny Sauter, Brett Moffitt, Noah Gragson, and Ben Rhodes. Of course, Rhodes was knocked out of round 1, but overall 3 out of 4 right. So yeah, let's go through each one. Johnny Sauter, the regular season champion, he got into the Final Four with a win at Martinsville. So Johnny Sauter having a really good season. Been one of the top drivers in the Truck Series the last few years. Won the title in 2016. So he has experience in this format before. But yeah, Johnny Sauter, he's a favorite to win it, so gonna have to look out for him. Our next driver, Justin Haley, probably the biggest surprise story of the year. Justin Haley has got into the Final Four by winning at Texas. Texas, which I said Johnny Sauter would win, but Haley got the win to lock himself in. The biggest dark horse out of it all. I didn't think Haley would even win a race, but he won one. He also even won an Xfinity race. Oh yeah, that's right, NASCAR took that win away from him from some bullshit yellow line rule. But Justin Haley has rebounded nicely. He's won 2 races in the chase, winning at Mosport in Canada and at Texas, along with Gateway earlier in the season. So, I don't know, if you want a dark horse pick, Justin Haley's the man. So our next contender, Brett Moffitt. Out of the Final Four, I would have Brett Moffitt as the favorite to win the truck title. Dominant season. Got into the Final Four, of course, with the win at Phoenix. So Moffitt has momentum riding off that win. You know, he's had one of the fastest trucks in the field. He's one of the most talented drivers in the field. So, you know, I think it just comes down to if Moffitt beats himself at Homestead or not. If Moffitt doesn't beat himself, I think it's going to be tough for anyone to beat him. And for the final member of our Final Four, we have Noah Gragson, who had only 1 win all season. Really, Noah Gragson, who everyone thought was going to win the most races this year, by a country mile, being in the best truck with KBM. And he's really done almost next to nothing, winning 1 race. So really, now we're seeing that Noah Gragson really isn't that talented. But, you know, he has some talent if he can make it all the way to the Final Four. But, yeah. Well, Noah Gragson, this will also be his last race in the KBM truck. Because next year, Noah Gragson is set to go to Xfinity to take over the 1 car for Elliott Sadler. So, yeah. Noah Gragson will be going on to bigger and better things next year. So, I think Gragson would want to make good on his final start. But, yeah. Out of these 4... which one do I have as the champion? See, after giving it some thought, I think all 4 make a decent case for the truck title. I think it's going to be hard to really predict. You know, I think Gragson, I don't know if Gragson's going to be much of a factor. I see it mainly coming down to Moffitt and Sauter. But in the end, I think Brett Moffitt has enough to win the championship this year. So I'm going to take Brett Moffitt to win the race and win the 2018 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series title. So yeah, I think though, if Sauter and Moffitt do mess up, I think Haley could take advantage. But I think Moffitt's going to be the champion in trucks this year. But yeah, how about we now move on to the Xfinity one? So of course I have our Xfinity Final Four listed on the screen here. So let's go ahead and list them all off. We have Cole Custer, Christopher Bell, Daniel Hemrick, and Tyler Reddick. Now, originally, my Final Four prediction was Justin Allgaier, Elliott Sadler, Christopher Bell, and Cole Custer. So I only got 2 out of 4 right. So 50-50. So yeah, how about we just review each driver and see how it is. So starting off, Cole Custer. Now initially when I made the Final 4, my chase grade prediction back earlier in September, when I picked Cole Custer to make the Final 4, you all thought I was insane, how I was delusional, how I didn't know anything and that I should just retire. Well, Cole Custer's in the Final 4, so I get the last laugh in all of this. Well, Cole Custer, he's been pretty meh. Been pretty meh, mediocre. He's had a couple chances to win this year, just couldn't seal the deal. You could blame the leeches if you want. But he's done a good job. He got into the Final 4 with a win at Texas. Of course, when there's no leeches. But yeah, Cole Custer, he won at Homestead last year, so he knows how to win this race. And with him in the Final 4, I think if he can win, do what he did last year again, he could walk out champion this year. But yeah, continuing on. Next up to our next driver, Christopher Bell. Chris Bell has had one of the most finest rookie seasons in Xfinity history, winning 6 races. He also got himself locked into the Final 4 with a win at Phoenix. And the most impressive part of that win is that Chris Bell was able to win after having to start at the back of the pack on a track where it's very hard to pass in a short race. So yeah, Christopher Bell, one of the most talented drivers in the field. Of course, Chris Bell, for anyone that doesn't know, he won the Truck Series title last year. So he does have some experience in this format. So look out for him. But I think out of all the Final 4, Chris Bell is easily, without a doubt, hands down, the favorite. But before we wrap this up, let's take a look at the other 2. So next up, Daniel Hemrick. So Daniel Hemrick has made it back to the Final 4 after last year. Last year he fell short of winning the title. So now he gets a second chance at it. So Daniel Hemrick, he's been pretty meh. Hasn't really done much. He's been quiet. He's been in position to win a couple races this year. Almost won Richmond. Fell short to Chris Bell. He almost won Kansas, but he fell short to John Hunter Nemechek. He also had a couple races early on a season, but of course you could pull the Leach card and blame it. But yeah. Yeah, Hemrick though. Hemrick's yet to break through, but who knows? Maybe Hemrick's first career win could be the win that gives him a championship. And also, this will also be Hemrick's last race full-time in Xfinity, since next year Daniel Hemrick will be going over to RCR in the Cup Series to replace Ryan Newman. We have no idea if the car will be number 31 or number 8. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, of course, to our final member of the Xfinity Final 4, we have Tyler Reddick. So the 9 car for Junior Motorsports makes a return to the Final 4, but with a different driver this time. Last year, William Byron took the 9 car to the Final 4 and won the championship. This year, it's Tyler Reddick. Tyler started the season off with an impressive photo finish win against his teammate Elliott Sadler at Daytona, where Hemrick won by, I think it's 4/10,000ths of a second. Like, we had to go to almost the 3rd or 4th decimal to find out the margin of victory. And of course, that race was decided in 5 overtimes of bullshit. But yeah, really, after that win, Tyler Reddick has really done next to nothing. He was able to consistently point his way through and take advantage of Elliott Sadler and Justin Allgaier choking on their own shit. But yeah, Tyler Reddick, though, this team has experience in that championship before. Plus that 9 car, remember. That 9 car also won the title in 2014 with Chase Elliott. But that was before this Chase Grid BS started. So Junior Motorsports has had some good cars, so they have experience in this. So yeah, out of these 4, which one will win the championship? So we've seen, though, so easily out of all of them, and Christopher Bell is hands down the favorite. And a lot of people are going to pick Chris Bell. I am not one of those people that's going to pick Chris Bell. Because we've seen before, time and time again, that the Xfinity Final Four does not reward the best driver throughout the season, the title. Remember, before the Chase Grid came in, the championship was based off of three things: consistency, luck, and skill. With the Chase Grid, mainly the title is built on one thing now: just luck. You just gotta get lucky and get hot at the right time. And momentum can change on a dime in this sport. So yeah, I think for that reason, I'm not picking Chris Bell. I think Chris Bell's going to choke. He's going to find a way to blow it. So with that being said, I made a prediction back in my predictions video back in January that Tyler Reddick would win the championship. I'm going to stick with it. Now, I'm taking Tyler Reddick to win the title, and he will be your 2018 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. So yeah, there you go. Reddick's my champion. But now, I just feel something's going to happen to Christopher Bell. And it's really hard to win a race 2 years in a row, so yeah. And I'm not sure if Hemrick's able to break through yet. But yeah, continuing on. Now to our Cup Final Four. Oh boy, this is going to be fun to rip apart. So, here is our Cup Final Four. I have them on the screen. We have Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Martin Truex. So let's review each driver. So before, of course, at the start of the chase, I predicted the Final Four would be Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, and Kyle Larson. So I got 3 out of 4 right. And how fitting that the 3 I got right were the big 3. So let's go through each driver. And let's see how they do. So, Joey Logano. Logano, of course, pretty much been quiet all season. Really didn't do much in the regular season. Had that one win at Talladega. In the chase, though, he once again has pulled another strong chase run out of his ass to make what is now his 3rd Final Four appearance in his career. So, Logano has experience in this format like the others. Of course, Logano got into the Final Four with his impressive win at Martinsville when he moved Martin Truex out of the way to get in. Again, I have no problem with the bump and run as long as you don't wreck them. You know, I've had some problems with Logano. I mainly don't really like Logano because of some stuff he's done in the past. But, you know, I'm honestly, if Logano wins the title, the Chase Grid is officially exposed. Because it'll then show that the Chase Grid rewards mediocrity. For anyone wondering, let me show some examples of mediocrity. We had Ryan Newman in 2014 who done almost nothing in a regular season. Then he pulls a strong run out of his ass, almost wins the title without even winning a race. Like, imagine if Newman won the championship that year. Imagine how embarrassing that would be for the sport. Especially when Brian Vance said they wanted to put a bigger emphasis on winning, and then a driver that almost didn't win a race all season ends up winning the title. That would be pretty embarrassing. And also look at Jimmy Johnson in 2016. Yeah, you can make an argument saying Jimmy won 5 races. However, 3 of those wins came in the chase. Jimmy was pretty mediocre that season, ran around 8th to 12th in points all season. And of course, that's the chase. Jimmy Johnson, of course, once again hit the switch and went on to win the 2016 title. So, you know, we've seen on even number of years, a mediocre driver makes a case for the championship. Could this be the time for Joey Logano? We'll have to see. Continuing on, next up, Kevin Harvick. Oh god, I'm gonna have to eat another pile of shit on the forts again. At least this gigantic pile of shit will match my videos perfectly this time. So Harvick has had probably the most impressive season of his career, winning 8 races. Only 6 of them count. At the start of the year, we were like, Oh, Fords were going to be shit, we said. They keep winning. Penalties were handed out to Harvick like candy. They keep winning. Oh, but you all said Harvick would fall off by mid-season. The Chevys would catch up, you say. They keep winning. Oh, reality will strike in and Harvick will find a way to beat a choker once again. Well, Harvick keeps winning and finds a way in. Initially, Harvick locked himself into Homestead with a win at Texas until a penalty was handed to Harvick, and then Harvick had to re-race his way back in with a strong run at Phoenix. But Kevin Harvick, the Fords are just a cockroach this year. They just won't die. So Harvick, of course, will not die. The Ford team, especially Harvick's, the Stewart-Haas team. Of course, Harvick, the 4th time he's made the Final Four. He won the title in 2014. Was the runner-up in 2015. He has experience in this format. And every year, he's always been up front and contending for the race win under this format. So Harvick is your safe bet in all this. And of course, though, I honestly feel this is Harvick's best to last chance to win a championship. Because you look at his age, he's 43. He's only got 1 year left on his contract. He's getting up there in age. And plus, we have the new Mustang coming in. And if the Chevy Camaro struggles were a sign of anything, and the new Camry struggles the first half of 2017 were a sign of anything, it's safe to say the Ford teams are going to have a hard time getting the cars together. But Harvick needs to make good on this, and needs to start living true to that closer name. Because honestly, the last couple years he's been known as the choker. Choking away chances after chances at a championship in his championship window. So, Kevin, time to make good on it. And to our next driver, Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch in another Final Four appearance. The 4th year in a row Kyle's made the Final Four. Kyle in another Final Four. Yawn. Well, this is probably the most impressive Kyle Busch has been. Kyle Busch has followed up the last season when he was the runner-up for the championship. He has followed it up with an 8-win season and becoming the regular season champion. Easily one of the fastest cars in the field. By far. He locked himself into Homestead with a win at Phoenix last week. And Kyle Busch, of course, won this format in 2015 controversially. That year, Kyle Busch was controversially undeserving to win the title. Mainly because he missed the first third of the season with a leg injury when he broke his leg in an Xfinity crash at Daytona. Which Kyle Busch has no business to be in that series, might I add. But this year, if Kyle Busch does win the title, at least we can say he is a deserving champion now. Because now he has at least could be in every race this year and he's been the best car throughout the season, to be perfectly honest. And as much as I hate Kyle Busch, I'm sometimes not afraid to swallow my pride and give credit where it's due. So yeah, Kyle Busch, of course, it seems like they have figured the Camry out and then it's locked and loaded. So yeah, continuing on. Next up to the final member of our Final Four. Martin Truex, the reigning champion, in the Final Four for the 3rd time in his career. Of course, Truex obviously has experience in this format, winning the title last year. Truex, of course, out of the big 3, he's mainly been the bottom feeder. He hasn't been really as fast as his title run last year. But of course, as we've seen, this format is about rewarding the best driver at Homestead, not the best driver throughout the season. So yeah, Truex has experience, but it's tough to win it 2 years in a row, because remember, the last driver to win back-to-back titles was Jimmy Johnson. And of course, when Jimmy went back-to-back, he ended up winning 5 straight titles, from 2006 to 2010. And of course, the 48 team became a dynasty in the mid-2000s. And the rest is history. So yeah, of course, Martin Truex wants to do that and become a dynasty. So, of course, Truex with 4 wins points his way in based off his regular season success. And of course, though, sadly, this is also a lame duck situation for Truex. Because Furniture Row is shutting down at the end after this weekend. Due to financial reasons, they cannot afford to fund their car. This was, of course, after 5 Hour Energy decided to drop their sponsorship for 2019. Did I mention they announced that after Brian France decided to be a fucking idiot and get himself arrested? So yeah, if you're wondering why Furniture Row could have went out of business, well, conspiracy theorists, I just gave you a fire. So there you go. So of course, though, Truex has a future, as it was announced last week, that he will be moving over to the 19 car to replace the underachieving Daniel Suarez at Joe Gibbs Racing next year. So now Truex has a chance to make history Sunday, as Truex could become the first driver in NASCAR history to win a championship with one team and then leave that team the following season. So yeah, but either way you look at it, so yeah, overall, like I mentioned the last couple weeks, this is just the same Final Four as last year. It's just a different Penske driver this time. Like, seriously, what's the point of even watching this if we already know what the final outcome is going to be? Like, seriously, the competition is as diluted as my piss. Like, this Final Four, it gives ammo to all those fans that want to claim that NASCAR is rigged. Like, seriously, you can make a strong case for it. Like, seriously, in NASCAR, unless you're in a Gibbs car, a Hendrick car, a Joe Gibbs car, or a Penske, you're fucked. Like, it's a sport where at least 65% to 70% of the teams are fucked from the get-go. Like, that's not a healthy sport when 2/3 of the field don't even have a chance to win the race. Because we all know it's going to be someone from those big 4 teams. Like, that's really the only way you can compete for a championship. And before you say anything about Furniture Row is just pretty much a fit Joe Gibbs car. And Kyle Larson is literally carrying Chip Ganassi. Kyle Larson is taking a 20th place car and making it compete for wins in the top 5. Because that's how talented Kyle Larson is. So yeah, if you put Larson in one of those big 4 rides, you already know how talented he can really be. But yeah, overall, so yes, like the World Series and the Super Bowl and the NBA Finals, it really doesn't matter who wins. Everybody loses. And one guarantee, we're either guaranteed the crown of first-time champion or a 2-time champion. So out of these 4, which one will I jinx? Sadly, there is not an option to jinx all 4. So after giving it some thought, I'm looking at all 4 and figuring out which fan base's reaction to their driver losing would be the funniest. So after giving it some thought, I honestly think Joey Logano and Martin Truex, because of the Martinsville incident and Truex saying he ain't going to cut Logano a break. I think Logano and Truex are going to get in each other's way, and as a result, both of them are going to pretty much take each other out of the title picture. So mainly this comes down to Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. So as you know, I can't stand Kyle Busch. Almost nobody on his team is likable. I hate Kyle Busch. I hate the person as much as I hate his fan base. He's a bit of an asshole. And just remember, he's not the marketing genius behind the youth movement. We can all agree on that one. I hate Kyle Busch. I despise him. I want him to lose. His fan base being miserable and crying like little babies is what's best for business. And that nothing pleases me more than seeing that. That's why I'm picking Kyle Busch to win the race and the championship. Because as we've seen before, since God really likes to shit on my predictions, I'm going to use that to my advantage. Oh, God, now that I actually picked Kyle Busch and trying to take advantage and jinx him, watch Kyle Busch now win the title, actually. Fuck. Honestly, go watch hockey or football. It's way more unpredictable than this sport. You really think an all-star package is going to change anything? It's not. So watch hockey or football. You can thank me later.